and reach the goal. So better than people who are just acquiring knowledge and not walking this path of meditation, yogis are much better, who have gained the knowledge and they are pursuing this path. So jnanibhyopi mataha adhikaha yogi. Yogi is greater. Yogis are greater than karmi also, those who are performing different types of karma kanda, different types of action, worldly as well as otherworldly. People are more attached, many people are more attached to karma. They are workaholics, as the modern terminology is used. But not only attached to the worldly action, but there are some people who are attached to the religious actions also. Different types of rituals person will keep on doing. And they get so much attached to those rituals that the goal is missed. Why we are doing is not. So many Mahatmas, they come and then they tell their followers also, what are you pursuing all these rituals? Drop all this and seek that ultimate goal. So Bhagavan is telling here that better than this karma kandis and those who are attached to actions and simply doing it for gaining some result, better than them is a yogi. So karmibhyashchadiko yogi tasmad, therefore, hey Arjuna, yogi bhava, you become a yogi. See, direct such a sweet. Bhagavan tells Arjuna, he looked into his eyes maybe, and he told him, hey Arjuna, become a yogi. Become a yogi. Like parents call their children and tell them, you become a doctor, you become an engineer. Your greatest, our father, our parent, Bhagavan, is telling Arjuna, you become a yogi. He doesn't tell him you become a film star or you become this businessman or you become a politician. He says you become a yogi. Tasmat yogi bhava Arjuna. Baki other things are secondary. You can be a engineer, doctor, politician, this, that and all. But main your thing is you should be a yogi. Pursue that path. Tasmat yogi bhava Arjuna. So become a meditator. See, there are people who know the strength of action. Then there are those who know the strength of their mind. Those who know the strength of their intellect, their wisdom. But there is subtler than that is the strength of meditation. Strength of meditation. See, a meditator can bring about more change in the world than even a wise, intelligent person. Meditator, without even going out in the world, just remaining at one place, can lift the consciousness level of the whole world. Like a presence of a Gautam Buddha in the world lifts the level of consciousness in the whole world. So tasmat yogi bhava Arjuna. In the world, actually, many times people, they lack proper attention, proper meditation, connection with our own self. Not only individuals, but even societies and nations have lost connection, touch with their own, what we call soul, with their own self. And therefore there is illogical and irrational so-called development. We use the word development, but it's in all fields. What you call spoiling the earth and the environment and all in the name of development, creating big cities and big malls and big entertainment and lot of objects and this and that. Why a lot of restlessness is there? There is no contact with our own self. Once that is done, then all our whatever work we do in this world, whatever interaction we have, it will have greater glow and greater beauty. So Bhagavan says you become a yogi. As a yogi, you fight this war. You become a yogi. Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. But yogis are also of variety of type. So Bhagavan says, not that type of yogi. I want you to become the yogi as I have described to you. Because the word yoga and word yogi is very popular. So everyone calls themselves yogi. Ne? Some people actually long jatas and all, they say they are yogis. How did you become yogi? No, I have worked towards making this jata. I met one person actually when I had gone to Kathmandu. I met this yogi, big jatas. And then he called me. Then he said, "Oh, आपके साथ photograph." So I took photograph. And after photograph, he asked for money. Long jata he had. I was quite impressed by his jata. So different types of yogis are there. Meditators, so-called meditators. There are people who meditate on all sorts of things. And nowadays, new and new techniques of meditation comes. The more money you give, the more fancy five-star hotel and more what you call soft music and all. And you can sit a special what you call chair and all. And there you can sit and meditate. With a Bisleri bottle in front, you can just... Now and then you can take a sip and then meditate. Then you eat some nice fancy food, organic, then again meditate. It's nice. Different type of meditation. Meditation actually, as I said, other than Atma, there are thousands of variety of meditation. Meditation is paying attention. So paying attention can be on so many things. Everyone can develop a new technique. Everyone can develop a new technique. New technique of posture, new technique of breathing, new technique of concentrating somewhere, new imagination, new form, sound, taste, touch. So many techniques are there of meditation. But Bhagavan says, nay. You become a meditator of the self. And not the self which is not different from me. The self in you is the self in me. And that's what now finally he tells Arjuna, you become this type of yogi. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam Same yuktatamo matah Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam Same yuktatamo matah. Bhagavan says, Yoginam api sarvesham. There are many different types of yogis. Meditators are there, hundreds of variety of them. But those yogis who are meditating on the self, antaratmana, madgatena antaratmana, one who has entered their own self, which is not different from myself. One who meditates on the Supreme Self, that pure Param Atma, not on any other things. The very center, not on some circumference, not on some name and form, not on some power and position or mantra or tantra and all, but one who meditates on the self, that pure self which is nameless, formless, supreme, which is not different from the self of Ishvara. The self of this meditator and the self of Ishvara is same. So madgatena antaratmana, one who has entered me, one whose self has become one with me, through one who has placed his antakarana, his mind in me. Such a yogi, shraddhavan bhajate yoman, with supreme faith, who worships me, the inner self, the self of all. So having attained and having got established in this self, when he looks at this world, he sees the whole world as his own self, and he worships, he loves the whole world as his own self. Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yukta tamo mataha. Such a yogi, I consider him as the best. Yukta tamaha, superlative. He is the best. One who has got established in his own self, that self which is not different from me, Bhagavan says, and one who looks at this whole world as his own self, and he loves and he serves the whole world. Such a yogi is the best. See, when we meditate, as I said, when we meditate, we come to know who am I. But when we come to know who am I, we also come to know that I is not confined only in this body, but that I is the self of all beings. Self of all beings is called Ishvara. But when I meditate on myself, I come to know that I myself am that Ishvara. I myself am of the nature, essential nature of Ishvara. For example, again to give example of the ocean and waves, the journey begins with that wave. A nice little wave is there, and suddenly that wave become interested in, let us say, spirituality, and the wave wants to know what is my real nature. So wave is told that you pursue the path of karma yoga, then you do some upasana, then you gain knowledge. You understand through that knowledge that you are essentially water. And then you meditate and realize that you are water. So wave pursues this path very sincerely before it falls down. As it is rising, it is perceiving. So it meditates and comes to know that I am water. The very moment it comes to know that I am water, it also comes to know that the same water is there in all the waves. It begins with I as an individual, but it comes to know that I am not only confined to this body, but I am the very essence of all the waves. When we talk about all the waves, we talk about it as ocean. When we talk about one wave, we talk about it as one wave. Similarly, when we talk from the standpoint of totality, we talk about that reality as Ishvara or as Brahma. When we talk from the standpoint of an individual, we talk about it as Jiva or Atma. So through meditation, we come to know that I am that pure Atma, but also I come to know that I am the self of all the beings. I come to know I get a comprehensive understanding of my own self. So from this first chapter to sixth chapter, the whole way of expressing this, giving this knowledge was from that individual standpoint. But now, Bhagavan has given this hint here, and he will start a new topic from the 7th chapter onwards, revealing that reality from the totality standpoint. He will reveal what is the nature of that Ishvara, and how the nature of Ishvara and how the nature of this Jiva is one and the same. So through these 6 chapters following the path, we come to know who am I. But when we study this 7, 8, 9, 10 till 12th chapter, we will know who is Ishvara, and we will know that the self in me and the self in Ishvara is one. So the whole structure, the whole way it is expressed from the next chapter onwards is totally a different way. You will get a different feel. In those chapters, Bhagavan will explain the concept of this world and how it is appearing. He will also explain how he himself is there as the self of all the beings. So that is most important. So the bij, the seed for the For the following 6 chapters, he lays here in this 47th verse by saying that among all the yogis, the yogi who has become one with myself, who worships me, seeing me in all these beings, such a yogi is the great. Yukta tamo mataha. Yo mam bhajate shraddhavan same yukta tamo mataha. See, this whole Bhagavad Gita is a beautiful text which Bhagavan reveals the entire thing very beautifully. So it not only that each chapter we have to understand and appreciate in each verse, but we should also have the total picture. It gives it, then it is more fun. It's like a flower. It is not only to look at one petal, but you should be able to look at the whole flower. You should be able to appreciate the entire flower. Not only flower which is plucked, but flower which is there on the plant. Flower which is plucked is not complete. It has been plucked. Similarly, some people pluck some flower from Bhagavad Gita and try to understand. It is good, it is flower from Bhagavad Gita, but it is plucked. You have to keep it on that plant only and understand. And that plant is complete not only because of that plant, but because of the surrounding other plant and the air and the breeze and everything makes that plant complete. You can understand that plant completely when you also understand the distant star and everything into it. So this Bhagavad Gita is like a beautiful flower which the tree of what you call the plant or tree of knowledge, which has to be understood in its totality. So we have understood and studied 1/6 नहीं कितना हो गया 1/3 of Bhagavad Gita. So 2/3 are remaining that we will study from our next yajna. Now we'll conclude, the concluding Sankalpa Vakya is there that we will read. Om Tatsada Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Dhyana Yogo Nama Shashtodhyayah. So thus concludes this Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, called Dhyana Yoga. It's a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, and it is also an Upanishad which reveals the knowledge of Brahma and also gives the science of Yoga. So Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Dhyana Yogo Nama Shashtodhyayah. So thus concludes this beautiful chapter. Om Tat Sat. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम।